2026 Catfish Bass Series is heating up. Whiskers in the winter. January 10th. Follow the Catfish Bash on Facebook. Register now. Join fishing with Stoney Stone podcast. Monday at 7. Streaming on Facebook and YouTube with special guest Dieter Melhorn. Let's talk electronics and fishing tournaments. Gonna be a good one.
All right, we're live. Are we going? We are up. Welcome. It is Monday, and you know what time it is. It's time to talk fishing. I have my co-host with me,
Darren with Team Sift.
and you heard it here first. We got a great lineup tonight, and without further ado, we're gonna just dive into this. Dieter, welcome to the show. There's
a lot of
you're already known, Randy.
There's a lot of people that are going to be disappointed that that animated version of me does not continue and they actually have to see my face and voice. Thanks for having me.
I'd love having you. This is your second time. You were back on our show about 3 months ago, and we were
Yep.
talking about catfish baits and kind of what's the best baits to use and what have you. And welcome back. Today we're going to talk a couple hot topics. One is I want to talk about electronics in fishing tournaments, and that's just a very broad kind of thing. We'll see where it goes and what comes up. But I'm kind of curious to see what's going on in the catfish world outside of California. We kind of see what's going on with bass, but wanted to hear from what I consider an expert in this, because I'm still trying to figure things out. I don't know what I don't know, and then after we have a little discussion about that, kind of see what it's doing to the the fishing tournament industry, and what I like to call the rise and fall of fishing tournaments, and that's kind of where we're going tonight.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm open book for questions, ideas, thoughts, anything on the electronics thing. That's a hot topic in fishing, period.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Yep.
And what are your thoughts on it? We're seeing a lot of people are taking steps to start banning certain technologies or limiting them or writing rules around them. What do you think about that topic?
Here's my take. I'll give you a whole big long diatribe on it. The first thing is it's not going anywhere. Lowrance, Garmin, Humminbird ain't gonna stop making the stuff, so it's here to stay. People are going to use it fishing, period. It's going to get better and better. It's going to get to the point where you'll be able to tell a channel catfish from a blue catfish. It's just going to get better and better and better the faster the processors get. It's here to stay. The question is, at what point, as tournament anglers, are the brakes put on it? Because what will
Right.
inevitably happen, and it's already starting to happen. There's some people not talking about it yet. There are people who are using this, and they obviously have a big distinct advantage. Now, a lot of people will argue, well, it's available to everybody, and I agree, it is. But I think there are some things that you just have to limit. And I talk about this in a podcast I've got coming out in a week or so. Every sport has access to technology now. If you go to the golf world, they make or can make golf balls that you can hit 30% farther than the ones they have now, but you can't use those things. There are club heads, clubs, things they can do with clubs that would enable you to hit the ball further. They limit that in tournament play. Same thing in baseball. They can make a baseball that you could knock out of the park every other time you make contact with it, but it's bad for the sport. Auto racing, there's limits there on what they can do horsepower wise, performance wise, so that it keeps parity, levels the playing field, keeps it competitive. It's true in every sport. Football, they can make the football smaller, You could throw it further. They can make a football lighter if they want to. Basketball, we want to see more baskets. Let's lower the goal about a foot. Let's make the hoop a little bit bigger. Bottom line is, we've come up with rules and parameters to keep it sporting. And after all, that's what fishing is supposed to be, sporting. Uh, why can't we go in a catfish tournament and throw a cast net? Why can't I go set a
Right.
trot line in a catfish tournament? Why? It's because we've defined it with rules and regulations and things that keep it a sporting means. And that is why I think looking at doing away with live scope, forward facing sonar, or whatever you want to call it, uh, would be beneficial to the sport. Again, you're not doing away with the technology. If people want to use it, they can use it. I know bass, one of the bass series. I can't keep up with all the different bass. There's bass, FLW, MLF, blah 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 blah. Um, one of them, I think it's bass, is doing every other tournament. They are allowing forward-facing sonar. One of tournament series banned it completely. I don't know what one of the other ones is doing. Um, I think that's a good move with doing it every other tournament. Now, in their world, because of television, I think they could make it entertaining. They have a platform to where they are televising this stuff. And this hit me one day. I was like, have it to where half the tournament, half the day, you can use forward facing sonar, and then half of it you can't. Or one day of the tournament you can, one day you can't. It would make it good entertainment. Is it, again, I don't know. They've got a way to do it. I think for the rest of us, it's like, I just don't think I don't think it makes the sport better. And I'm going out on a limb and saying this. I said this before and ask anybody to challenge me. I've never seen any technology that benefits the fish that we pursue. I've never,
Very true.
That's true.
and if we're true sportsmen and stewards of the resource, then that should be the most important thing for us. But I think what gets in the way of it some is people wanting to win and catch more fish and have big stringers of fish and fish string across the front deck of their boat for a Facebook picture. So that's kind of my role on it. So what do ye
And
think?
that's and so I have I agree with a lot of what was said. In anything you do, and I've been involved in a lot of different things through my growing up, from car racing to barbecue competitions to kids little league, whatever, anything you get a bunch of people together, there's going to be rules that you follow, and this is no different. And when you got money involved and you got very competitive people, they start looking at as a whole, as a the tournament directors as a whole need to figure out, is there an unfair advantage being created by technology or something different. And that's when some rules start changing to kind of level the playing field. It's not about who has the money or who's got the best technology. And I think a lot of the times we've got to really dive into looking at, well, when we started this, what was the intent, right? And I look at, say, the Catfish Bash in general as the one series that we have, and I'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute when we get into kind of who's been around and who's not. But the Catfish Bash is, everybody got into it for fun. It started in 2021. And it's grown and grown, and it's grown and gone shallow and go. It just moves around. But we're doing 6 tournaments a year. And Jake's done a great job of trying to manage things that come up, and we had a lot of rule changes this year. And then out of the blue, the last tournament of the year, this comes up as, well, should we talk about this technology? And it opened up a Pandora's box of divide of people on both sides of the fence.
It came down to one person voicing their opinion, and it just kind of ran from there. And people started to divide, yeah, and get kind of nasty about it,
Right.
and it's just one of those things that, it's like you guys said, there's rules for everything.
Right.
So
And as long as you know what the rules are, you make decisions of do I want to play or not, right? And so this is where Dieter, you were talking about the different organizations doing things, and I had to dig some digging, and that's why I reached out to you. I reached out to a few different tournament directors out in Texas to figure out what they're doing, and it was kind of interesting as I got the feedback. Is our little tournament here in Clear Lake is no different than Texas. It's probably no different than North Carolina, South Carolina, or anywhere else. It's the same stuff, just packaged differently. You're gonna have the same egos. You're gonna have the same problems. It's gonna be the same everything, right? Is just how do we navigate those waters to
And
get
here's the
everything
thing: I'm going to
to
call
get
out the
along.
tournament directors. I'm going to call out the tournament directors. Okay, they
Yep.
a lot of them don't want to step up and be a leader in the sport and make a command decision, a leadership decision. They want to poll everybody. Let's get a show of hands, and they're basically letting the inmates run the asylum. And at some point, you need to have some leadership in the industry that steps up and says, "Hey, we're going to draw the line here. This is where we're going to do it." There's no benefit to the fisheries by allowing the use of it. There's no benefit to the species, the fish themselves, by doing it. And it's not really going to help the sport any by doing it. And we're just not going to do it. But it's hard for them to do it because, they don't want people not entering the tournament or something like that.
Right.
So I think we need some leadership to step up, and maybe some have. I talked about it in my podcast. I don't know if anybody has. I call on Alex Nagy to do it. I think Alex Nagy is probably the single biggest face and name right now in the tournament world, and I think he is in a command position. He's kind of the guy, really, in the tournament world that could, basically drop that anchor right there and say, this is where we're going to stop it and, not use it, move forward. Like I said, maybe he has. I don't know. I don't follow all the tournament rules, that,
Right.
I'm not that in depth with, but he's got the, what is it, Bama Blues coming up, the Winter Blues deal in January. And that would be a great one to go, hey, we're not going to allow forward facing sonar. There's going to be the argument, well, how are you going to enforce it? Who's going to know? Here's the deal, guys. You don't know what people are doing anyway. You're counting on the integrity
Right.
of the anglers themselves. Okay. Catfish tournaments are probably the easiest tournament, one of the easiest to cheat in that there is. If somebody truly wants to cheat, they can do it very easily in any catfish tournament out there. So you're counting on the integrity of the anglers. And like I've said before, if you have an angler that is not honest, it's going to come out somewhere else too. The tournament day is not the only time that you're going to see that. You'll find out if you got a dishonest angler. And, that's just, that's just the way it is with, stuff. You can't enforce everything. But yeah, I think we need a tournament director to step up and do that. And I think if you can get one, then the rest of them, might get on board with it.
Right. And this is one reason why I spent the last week kind of reaching out to different places and trying to get, conversations with different people outside of our general area. People have been doing this a lot longer than we have, and just kind of getting a feel for where things were going. And what I found was in those areas, it's just as a hot topic. A few tournaments have taken some action to move the ball forward in what they believe is the right thing to do. And so, in this area, it's going to boil down to who's going to be the first one to make a move, if that's the move it's going to go, or are they going to just put their feet in the ground and say, nope, we're not going to do it. Now I know, speaking for the one that has been around all year, so just a little bit of history, Dieters. I look at, as I got into this back in 2021, there was one guy, not counting the Derby, the Derby that's been out there, is it happens once a year. It's huge. It's a different animal. It's not a tournament at all. It's 3 days long, and it's one fish, and everybody does it. It's been around 30, 40 years. So I don't count that when I start talking kind of tournament fishing. But back in 21, there was only one person doing it. Then we get into 2022, and you've got, I would say actually even in 2021, you had two guys really doing it with the Kings of Clear Lake and the Goodfellas guys doing things like that. And then it kind of grew. We had Jake doing his thing with a catfish bash that started off with like 5 boats and then started growing. So you see all these guys kind of jockeying around, and through 21, 22, going into 2023, you got a lot of disorganization of people doing things. Then you go into 2025, and the only one standing is Catfish Bash, right? They've weathered all of the changes and things that have gone on, and they're the ones that are constantly trying to change the rules, trying to up it, trying to get rid of things that we don't like, and just kind of stick with it, right? So for all of this year, there's only been one show out there, which was the Bash, and we had some growing pains, and we still are going into next year though. Now we've got, the Channel Cat Classic. Richard Mutre's throwing on something. He's a big sponsor for the Bash, right? But he's doing his own thing. Pro style tournaments coming out. He's going to be facing a lot of the same decisions to make, right, as he's going through. So I know he's watching what's going on in the Bash to say, well, how are these guys going to handle it? Or do they make the first move, or does he make the first move, or is no move? I mean, this is why we have this forum or this conversation, is what are people going to do?
Yeah.
It's a Channel Cat Classic. Channel
Yes.
Cat Classic's got a great question. He says, Dieter, is preserving the fisheries your only concern with forward-facing sonar? No, my biggest concern, it's a bigger issue that I see, and I don't know how to stop this train. I don't know that you can. Is the driving up the cost of fishing tournaments. And that is another part of this, is that it's one more little thing that is just making it more and more expensive to compete, and for the common man just to get out and fish a tournament. And
competitive.
I mean, you look at the tournament, I think Steve Douglas is trying to do next year with the World Catfishing Championship. That's like a $1,500 entry fee. I think the Winter Blues is $1,000 entry fee. It's just little things, a lot of that's, is people want more money, and then you're limited the number of people in the tournaments. And that's just one of the little things there. The other thing, quite honestly, I think it's going to create a big gap in who is going to be competitive and who's not going to be competitive. And I think that could become detrimental when you start having, a few people or a couple people doing really, really well with it. Because I'm going to be honest with you, the old dudes are probably going to get their butts kicked. Because I think the younger guys are going to have a distinct advantage. Just one, in dealing with the technology, and two, the physicality of how you're going to have to fish. The old dudes ain't going to do good. The old guys that have, the Lonnie and Donnie Fountains of the world that have done good, fishing tournaments, it's going to be, the old set it and forget it, cast, park, and pray kind of deal. There's going to be more physicality to it. And I think that's going to change some stuff up. Not that there's anything wrong with the physicality part of it, but again, I go back to the technology thing. That stuff's going to get better and better and better, more and more expensive. And the other thing is, traditionally with fishing, is we never get to really see, outside of maybe pitching some baits to some bedded bass or something. The part of the sport of this is that you never really see the fish. You don't really know he's there. It's up to the fish to make the decision to eat your bait. That is what keeps it sporting. And it's that interaction. With this, you're seeing everything in real time, and it's going to get more and more and more accurate in exactly what's going on. So again, I think there's a lot of factors here, and I think, it's just one word. You draw a line, and again, let people use it. I don't care if they use it or not. I may get it eventually. I think for throwing a cast net, it's the greatest thing in the world, because you can literally measure how far that freaking school of shad is in front of your boat instead of, just throwing and hoping they're still there. But yeah, I just think it's time to draw a line and let's do it. Let's have a leader step forward and do it.
And I guess that's one of the things that I'm totally in agreement with is we're not gonna stop this train from coming. So you might as well get on board, figure it out, and the tournament directors have to figure out how they want to address it. Now, when it comes to the Catfish Bash, we just finished 2025 season, going to 2026, and they've already posted the rules for 2026, and they are not banning it for 2026. So now that opens the door to say to people, well, now you have a choice. You can either fish it or not fish it, but you know what you're getting into. And if that's the reason you're not fishing it, that's a choice that you made, and you'll sit these ones out. But Richard's got a tournament coming up you can fish that's not banning it, and you got I think Chris Wheeler's got something they're throwing together that's not banning it. So no one's jumped on the let's go ban it train yet, and it's a matter of who's going to be the first to do it, if at all, right? Or is it?
It's also going to be the tournament directors to see how many people are dropping out of the tournaments because they just don't want to compete against somebody that's going to win every time.
Right. Right. So then you start making some decisions along that. It's like, well, how many people are fishing it or not fishing it for these reasons? And then do we need to make a change to be able to get those numbers up? Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to do these on a regular, like the bash is, now it becomes kind of a business. It's not a one and done. It's like you're doing it throughout the year. Which then opens another question, Dieter, is now we're doing this. It's like, well, is this more of a club thing or is this more of a tournament thing? Because it's kind of starting to feel a little clubby to me.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. I, I, I don't know. I don't know. I think the dynamic of whatever group club you've got is going to play a part in it. I think if you got some younger technology oriented people, I think they're going to be more for it because they figure they can figure out a way to use it to their advantage. Uh, again, it's not so much about the anglers having the advantage. I think it's more just about just understanding that you're getting more of an advantage on the fish. And I,
Yes.
that's kind of where my kind of, line is as far as, is it, there's a lot of times where it's not going to be applicable. Now that's a whole nother discussion there. I think there are certain types of fish, catfish, that are easier to target with it from what I've seen in being on the boat and using it with people fishing. I think flatheads can be targeted a lot easier with it. I think anytime you have staged up inactive fish, it's easier to use and target fish with it. Without going into too much detail about what people are doing that I wasn't supposed to talk about, but it's I don't think it's as powerful as it is in the crappie fishing world. And I don't think it's as
Right.
powerful as it is in the bass fishing world because I think the way those fish stage up and do stuff is different. But there are going to be some ways to where people can use it. And again, it's more of an advantage for fish. Again, I just say we draw the line. And again, if you don't think it's that much of an advantage, then it shouldn't be a big deal to not use it.
Correct. I would agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'd have to agree with that too.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
That just makes
and
sense.
again, I bring this up as talking points because it is a hot topic. And,
Very hot.
me personally, when I say, I got to make decisions to say, am I going to fish the tournaments? Am I not going to fish the tournaments based on the rules? And that's my choice. And that's
Yep.
what I'll do. And that's the basically what it boils down to. So if
Yeah.
we see a lot of drop
because
off, then maybe a change needs to be happen.
Yeah, Chris Wheeler's got a good point. He said they went through the same discussion controversy when sonar was originally created, and that's true. Same thing in deer hunting with bows. It was originally a recurve bow and a hand-turned cedar arrow, and then came a compound bow. And no real bow hunter hunts with a compound bow. And then crossbows came around, and those are for wimps, and now pretty much many states allow crossbows to be used. It's where you draw the line. And again, why can't we set a trot line in a catfish tournament? Why can't we? I mean, what's wrong with that? It's
Probably gives you
legal
an
if it's
advantage.
legal where you're at. If it's legal
Right.
where you're at, why can't I put out 100 hooks in a tournament? The reason is because we
Yeah, good
figured
point.
where the line is. We've established where the line is, what the limit is, and that's how we define it. And now again, if there are people just want to let technology run wild, so be it. I mean, but just be careful, because once you open that can of worms, that Pandora's box, it's over and done with,
Right.
and you're going to get what you're going to get, and you may or may not like that. And that's something for the bigger tournaments to consider. I mean, let's face it, in the catfish world, a lot of these tournaments, I don't know about y'all's tournaments, I know the ones around here, there's no rod limit. You already got, I see guys putting out 18, 20 rods around the boat. You know, why has that never been regulated? I think King Cat did that for a while. They had like a 6 rod limit. Now I think do y'all have a rod limit in California?
Yeah, we can have a you can
Okay.
basically to one per license, but you can get a two rod stamp. But basically, the most you can have per
Okay.
person is two.
Yep.
Y'all may need forward facing
And we
sonar then, just to catch some fish, as hard as that is, man. Around here, it looks like some kind of like nuclear spider with like all these rods.
Yeah,
It
I've
looks
seen
like the
them.
guy's
I've
yeah.
seen them.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a
Yeah,
different world, but
Well, and I fish. We fish two rods per person. You get three people on. You're running 6 rods, and I get tangles with 6 rods. I'm like, even with 3 people, I'm still gonna run 2 rods.
that's just because you
yeah.
have no coordination.
Anyway, no, good, healthy discussion. As you can see, there's a lot of comments. I'm not even looking at comments. I know there's some things going on, but to be clear, there's nobody out here at Clear Lake that's doing these as ban any technology. If that's what they heard, that's not. Richard has not done it. Jake has not done it. Chris has no plans to do it. What they're doing. Everybody I know who's doing something has not banned it yet. It's just a discussion that's coming up, and we're either going to be a leader or we're going to be a follower. And I think a lot of people are waiting to see what happens, and we'll see.
Yeah,
Um,
it'll come around. I mean,
but but that leads into our other discussion point is as we're making decisions, right? Is I like to call it the rise and fall of the tournaments, because as we've seen in our
Hmm.
own backyard of having several guys doing something through 21, 22, 23, 24, we still had choices, and then all of 2025, the only thing we had was the bash, and the other tournaments went away for various different reasons. But are we seeing that as a trend, right? To put things in perspective, last year when we were looking at permits, we had 6 tournaments. When I looked, there was 96 bass tournaments.
yep.
So, catfish to bass fishing. I think a lot of people are following bass more than they are catfish. But, what do you think, dear? Are we on the decline, or you think there's more tournaments or more choices, or is it getting diluted?
Something is going on in the tournament world, and it's hard to get a good feel on it because you can't talk to the tournament directors, because the sun is shining and the fields are green, and it's going to be a great harvest of crops. The tournament anglers that are still fishing are pretty much apologists too for it, but there are some that, I mean, are saying stuff is shifting. Some of the numbers are coming down as far as the number of boats turning out for these things. Our big tournament series here in the Carolinas, the Southeastern Catfish Club, they stopped this year, and that series has been around almost as long as I've been fishing. It started out as the Catawba Catfish Club. It changed hands, and they just changed the name on it. And the guys that did it, all friends of mine that were running it, basically got tired of it. And as I've said before, running one of these things is a pain in the butt. It's a lot of work. You need to be getting paid for it. And if you're not getting paid to run that tournament, your time is limited in how long you're going to do it. You're either going to hand it off to somebody or it's going to fold up. So I think that's part of the problem. And I think some of the bigger money tournaments may be getting more of the interest. And I think that may be diluting some of the field. There'd be one that was kind of a seasonal, 9 months out of the year, 8 months, and then there'd be another one. And then they started getting on top of each other with dates, and I don't know. I think some of that added to diluting some of the stuff that was going on and some of the tournaments disappearing. But uh, So I don't know. I feel something though. I know King Cat is shifting around what they're doing, which they were kind of the closest thing to a nationwide tournament. So I think something's going on. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know that it's necessarily the economy because I think most of the people that have the money to play the game, spending the money is not a big deal to them. But that may be what's happening though to some of the smaller tournaments and why some of those are disappearing or shrinking in numbers as far as the number of boats are turning out. It's one of those things I'm not really good at quantifying, but it feels like things are diminishing. It could just be a short term cycle too. I mean, who knows? What's
Yeah.
y'all's thoughts on it? What do
You
y'all
know,
see?
so so if I compare it to where we're all of us that are at least that are the circle I'm running in is it's all at Clear Lake. So if we look at Clear Lake as a whole, and again we had a great year with the Bash being the only game in town, so nobody else was competing. Well, going into next year, there's choices, right? So Richard Mutry is doing the Channel Cat Classic. It's a pro style tournament, 2 day tournament that people can enter. $8,000 guaranteed first place prize. So they're putting up some big money, and Richard's got some sponsors that are coming in to help with that. You've got Jake still doing the bashes. It's every other month. It's a series, and they have a championship at the end of the year. And the numbers are up and down. Sometime we have 35 boats, almost 40, I think, in one tournament, but we're usually in the 20s, high 20s on a regular, and it's usually all the same people that are fishing those. But going into next year, you're gonna have choices. I think Chris has got something he's working on. You got Richard with his, you got Jake with his, and I look at the pool of people. It's all the same people. Are we doing anything different that's going to pull people from the outside of our little circle of what's going on in the catfish world? Because at the end of the day, when you look at it, we're just a club. We're just a small little town. Nobody cares about catfishing. I mean, to be honest, not to put it down but to be honest, we're not 96 bass tournaments. There isn't a big following. We're trying to get there, and I think the bigger issue is we're trying to get there is the politics around catfishing, and anything you do, but how you act in the tournament, outside that tournament, how you act with each other play a huge role in people say, do I want to get involved in this
Yeah.
or not? And that's, I think, the bigger challenge we're seeing now is stuff along those lines.
So you're telling me that people in California, everybody just doesn't get along and they love each other. They're just like every other tournament series where there's infighting and politics and backstabbing. Good. That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear California's no different. That's awesome.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I learned when I was talking to all these different people this last week was it's the same.
Anytime
Yeah,
you get a
I
good
have wondered
customer,
if some
that's how
of
it's going to
the
be.
cheating stuff from the walleye world, the bass world, hasn't tainted it for some of those new people you're talking about getting into it. But for the past 5 years, we've had, I mean, there's a lot of caught on camera stuff. I've done podcasts on the stuff in the bass world with people failing liar. And there's just kind of some silly stuff. Their whole stupid thing of in the bass world. I can slam the bass world on this. The whole thing about sharing information. That is one of the most
Mhm.
dumb, nebulous, hard to enforce, asinine rules in the world. I mean, if I was going to fish a tournament right now, the fact that I just mentioned like the Catawba River, I'd probably be disqualified. It's silliness, but you got people disqualified and everything for those. I just wonder if some of that subconsciously hasn't hindered some people from going, this sounds like a bunch of yahoos, and do I want to get involved with? I mean, I had the video of one of our local tournaments where there was a fight caught on camera, and a guy, knocks him out right there on the ramp. They were arguing about something in the tournament. At first, I think it's great entertainment. There's the, the YouTuber part of me that goes, that's really entertaining. No matter what people say, this is going to get a lot of views, and it did. But is it? Can it be bad? It could probably be bad. You got a guy that maybe wanting to take his 7, 8-year-old kid out there and thinking, do I really want to go out with these bunch of yahoos and it's going to turn into a fight? If we end up winning, they're going to think we're cheating. So I don't know. Maybe
Hmm.
some of all that has limited it somehow. But I think the biggest thing is I just think people's attention is diluted nowadays. I'm the blame for it because I have a YouTube channel. But I think attention gets diluted to a certain extent with there's so much to do. There's so much more going on. There's so many more, if you got kids, I mean, let's face it, if you're not in 2 or 3 travel sports, you're a nobody. So, I think a lot of that gets gobbled up. Just time gets gobbled up. And I think people's time and attention gets diluted too. So part of that, like forward facing sonar and technology, is just, I think, going to be the evolution that we're in. That's just, the way we're going.
Absolutely, and it's just interesting to see how it all unfolds. And it's been, like I said, California is no different than anywhere else. We're all trying to figure it out and get along in the process, and we're finding that to be very challenging. But these tournament directors will step up to the plate and make a decision, or they won't. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Hashtag
Um,
Alex Nagy.
there you go. So yeah, dude, that's all I had really for you. You can stay on if you want a little bit longer. We're gonna talk some other things, or you can drop whatever.
I'm going to
I
jump
know it's
off of
late
here
for
because
you.
I'm going to get up and go fishing in the morning in probably 22 degrees
Awesome.
tomorrow morning. So it's warming up a bit.
Oh
So
man.
yeah, it's kind of brutal.
Well,
But man,
very
I
good.
appreciate you guys having me. Anytime you want to get me on here, y'all do need to do something though, and petition the state to get y'all's time to where it doesn't change and you stay with Eastern time. So I'm not up so late because it's knocking on the door at 11
I
o'clock
understand.
here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you
well,
very much.
Yes. Thank
thanks
you.
for having me, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right.
Well, there you go. Like, you got Mr. Melhorn in here. I think it went well. I mean, I haven't looked at all the comments. I'll look at all that later. Hopefully, it was a very informative discussion, and this is all it was a discussion. I'm trying to make some decisions or be involved in some of the things going on in our world, and it's tough, right? It's a lot of this had brought a lot of light on it for me personally. I've been talking about how I'm not going to fish because of my back, which is a
Yeah.
very true statement. I am still waiting for that to happen. It could be as early as the 1st of January. It could be March. I don't
Right.
know. I'm in a holding pattern.
Yeah.
But I've also made the decision as this unfolded with this year is, my fishing partner took a stance in, something he believed in. And, to me, blood is thicker than water. And blood meaning my blood of my brothers of who I keep with me.
Hmm.
And Anthony's taken a stance, whether you are with him, not with him, it's a personal decision. Me personally, I don't care one way or the other. But because my brother's taking a stance, I got to support him. So I'm not going to fish the tournaments until we come up with a total conclusion of, what are we going to do as a whole.
Well, and
Um,
that kind of goes the same for me. Is I've just with the one person, Anthony, bringing this to everybody's to the forefront, and everybody's hot topic now. Is I've done a lot of looking at videos, and it does give some people an advantage. Um, Now you brought up the point that yeah, I could run out and buy this. I could run out and buy this. I could drop $5,000 on a credit card and go buy the top of the line forward facing sonar. But I still got to learn how to do it. I got to learn how to use it. I don't have that time. I have to work 40 hours a week to make a living. So I don't have that time. So I've decided I'm not fishing this year either.
and so
I can't afford to pay somebody else to win.
And we're starting to see that divide, right? And this is what, the reason why I reached out to Dieter and a few other people that, I didn't get on the podcast, but had conversations with, is to have these discussions of what's going on. But, I'm feeling at this point, I'm just going to, let this ride out. I got some health issues I'm going to deal with. I'm going to see what happens here. I'll still be involved with the bash as much as they want me to do the things that I do. But I am challenging the tournament directors to come out to see what they feel is best based on the participation of the people that are getting involved and what's going to take your tournament the direction you want to take it.
Right.
That's the decision you need to make. And
And at the end of the day, like we've kind of had the discussion that this isn't a professional tournament. This is
no,
let's go out and have fun
and
and win a little bit of money if we can, but it's gotten to the point where it's not fun.
And you kind of bring up an interesting point, because if I remember back, working with Jake, and for him it was fun. He did this as a passion, that he wanted to do it. There was some clear, like, normal drama that goes on between tournaments that were happening at that time, but he held his ground, and he kept that going through all of those ups and downs, and he was the only one to keep it going. The other people that have tried have failed. For whatever reason, they're just not doing it. We've always been supportive to get them to do their tournaments, and we've fished in them. And I was surprised when I put my list together. I've fished 21 tournaments in 5 years, and that's just the catfish tournaments. That's not even the striper, the sturgeon tournaments that Anthony and I do. But I've fished a lot with Anthony, and without Anthony, like, he's doing his stance, there's no way for Old Farts fishing team to move forward, because he's part of the team.
Yeah.
So the team has to say, we're done.
And there was going to be some great dynamics this year too.
And we were gonna, let's say we were gonna merge teams. They had a plan to do things with the team was gonna merge, with me being in and out, and that didn't happen. So I guess the announcement now is we're not fishing the tournaments.
Yeah.
Again, I'll still be involved. I still support what Jake's doing, and I know he has my back in a lot of decisions that are made together. And if I look at everything that's happened, maybe it's kind of my fault in a way, because when Jake had this, it was a fun tournament, doing one every other month. Everybody got together, and you still had your little bit of drama going on, but we weren't chasing these points. We weren't chasing this weight, right? I think that could have backfired on us a little bit, because a lot of people really enjoyed it, but there was a lot of teams. If you follow, we lost half of the field of not fishing tournaments. And was it too competitive? Was there too much focus on the money part of it, and we lost track of the fun part of it?
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of sit back and see what happens through this year, and decisions that are made, and especially with Jake not being the only game in town, with a few other tournament directors doing their thing. And then when we get into 2027, we'll see who's standing, see who did it right, what we learned. Did we decide that we need to come together as a whole, as a community, or are there still going to be options? And so options are good.
Yeah.
And so far, what's been great is the tournament directors are working together
Yes.
to schedule their stuff, so they're not going, like Dieter was saying, they were overlapping each other.
Yeah.
So at least that we have in common.
Yeah.
The tournament directors are working together, so that's a plus. Now it's a matter of how long do they continue to work together, and in what direction things are going to go. So it's going to be interesting to see how that
it will be.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm not going to keep fishing.
Oh,
I'll be up there still fishing, enjoying it and having fun, and
Yeah.
probably still getting mad because I'm not getting any bites, or whatever it may be. But I'm still going to be up there.
Well, and you figure
It'll
that
be fun.
the brand of this whole thing, fishing with Stoney Stone, continues with or without catfishing. It's still there. I'm a big proponent of it. I'm still there, but you're right. We'll be fishing together. I'll be fishing with Anthony. We're just not doing the tournaments for various reasons, and we'll just let it play out. The biggest thing for me is when it starts to get not fun. That's the time to say, maybe I need to do something else. And I've seen it again. I sound like a broken record. I've seen it in everything I've done, from car racing to RC, not even real cars. We're talking RC cars. The drama with these guys with their sponsorships of, you think they're NASCAR racers, and their weight distribution. You got the wrong. I mean, it was crazy, this stuff that would happen in that world. So I don't care what you call it, what you want. It's, you get a bunch of men together, women together, people with a passion of a thing. We're going to have differences, and it's just how do we work together. What I don't like is when things start getting personal and people start making personal attacks on assumptions, or they said something that somebody didn't like, and now all of a sudden it turns into this pissing contest.
Yeah.
I was watching the news, and they were talking about how they want to ban 16-year-olds from social media, right? It's a big old thing.
Australia.
And I'm like, ban 16-year-olds? We should be banning these 50-year-olds. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's where it needs to start.
Yeah.
These old guys like me, they get on there and just pounding the freaking keyboard of back and forth, and it's like, there's no need for that. It just, in my mind, as I watch this go on, which you'll see, I don't interact a lot with it, maybe a little bit, if I really get to a point, but I try to stay out of it.
Yep.
And I guess we don't need these anymore.
No,
I don't have a
we
guest. I'm taking
No.
the earphones off.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't hear you. But you decide whether you're going to involve in that activity or not.
Yeah.
And
For me too, there's a lot of other fishing I'd like to do. I like to go striper fishing. I like to go out in the ocean, rock fishing, lingcod, halibut, sturgeon, sharks. Um, so I think this year we're going to be able to focus on a lot more different species
Yeah.
and not just focus on the catfish.
And that leads into what's going on with Catfish Wars.
Yeah,
Catfish Wars will continue.
Yeah.
There's still a storyline. There's still, the details. I keep telling everybody out, the Catfish Wars thing it's changing its face a little bit. That's all I'm going to say is it's going to come out probably a lot sooner than we thought. Now that we've got some new direction and kind of the storyline and how that's going to unfold. So I'm excited to see all the hard work that everybody put into, allowing us to film, to get the footage. And I think you're going to be kind of excited about how we went about it and how it plays out.
I still got footage I got to get to you.
You got to talk to the man. He's waiting.
Yeah.
So, as I said, anybody has footage that they want to send, if it's short video clips, photo, anything you think is going to help. But it's not necessarily needed to finish the project.
Yeah.
There might be a few people we want to reach out to continue to have some conversation with if we need to fill some of the gaps. But it's coming along pretty good. We'll see where it goes. And excited about that. We've worked hard on that, aside from everything else going on.
Yeah.
And then this weekend, I got these little things sitting here I want to talk about, but I'm going to wait a little bit. We'll wait on these before we pull up what's on the table. But our last tournament out in Clear Lake, we pulled the trailer out of the boat off the trailer sitting in the Airbnb driveway. I look at one of the bunks and go, what the hell nonsense is this? One of the bunks was completely rotted out.
Yes,
and it's just the carpet, I'm like, and how is this thing not pushing through the floor of the boat type of thing?
It darn near was.
Right? And so I'm like, shit. And then we got to drive it home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm Mexican. I reached into the garage, found some duct tape, and just wrapped that thing in duct tape, got the boat on it, got it home. But, luckily I've got some great friends, Darren and Anthony. We took it over to your house, jacked it all up. I put a little video out showing just quick thing of what we did and got that bunk replaced and back in the water.
First project in the new shop.
The first year, your big old green barn.
Yep. Yep.
Your green barn.
And now I'm in the process of getting that set up, so we'll be able to do some work on some people's boat for them, and fabricate some stuff for them.
So there you go. It's a shameless plug for Mayhew Makers to say, look, they got their shop in order. This is what I talk about. People have a dream of what they want to do. And, it's all because of the podcast and why his business is going the way. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's supporting local business. It's supporting everything we do here with each other in the fishing community this is what it is, at least from my perspective, whether you're a fishing guide, a tackle shop, a vendor, whatever, is I'm not going to get all religious on you or too godly or political, but it's like, just do better. I mean, this is what I can always say. We just do better. Why do we not get along? And we're going to have differences, but no, we go for the juggler right away and want to start calling people out and you're cheating and that cheating. And it's okay to have differences, but how we work through them is going to determine whether we're going to succeed as a community or just completely fall apart. And the track record is
falling apart.
Everybody falls apart. And that's fine. People will make choices of where they want to, go to, and that's perfectly okay too.
Sure.
Or you just say, you know what, I'm going to take a break and go do my own thing for a while. And sometimes you got to do that too.
Yeah.
But I got the easy job because I just sit back and help collect money, send out some promotions, use my business skills to promote. So yes, I'm still promoting, still into things I do with Jake. And that only continues as long as they want me to do it. And as soon as they say, you know what, this guy with his podcast and his weird thoughts is impacting us, boom, we're done. But we're there to
you're doing a
stick
great
it out.
job with this thing, and I think it's going to continue to get better. Just like I said, for me, I have priorities that I not going to go drop a bunch of money on something that I have to learn how to use, so it wouldn't give me any advantage this year, anyways.
Is one growing hair?
Maybe.
I don't know. Just check.
Rogaine.
He needs money for Rogaine.
Yeah.
So I was doing some online shopping the other day, just kind of popping around, watching a few different videos and things. And
You're always doing online shopping. Every time I come to your house, there's an Amazon package on the
that's my
porch.
wife. She's always buying. But every once in a while, she'll put something in the cart, right? And she leaves it in there through the day. I'll go sneak in some fishing thing, and I'll just throw it in there, and I just see if it shows up. Did she take it out, or did she miss it? So half the stuff I get nowadays, it's just me throwing stuff in the cart, and then She places the order, and I'm like,
Comes in.
I didn't order it. I wasn't shopping. You were shopping. Well, I kind of throw some things in the cart. And
Yeah.
so I threw some things in the cart, and I got these little thingies here. I don't even know which camera to look at. Probably right here. So these little line rattles, they look like little, I don't know,
Bullets. we'll
little
call them.
bullets. These little bullets that spin, little fins on it. And I've seen a few guys that use these. Not too many at Clear Lake that I've seen. Not saying they're not using them, but these things are loud. I mean, those rattles are loud, and the way it's shaped, I think it's going to pull through that water. And every time it turns, it has a little bit of a rattle.
Yep.
So in looking at this, I started getting, questioning. Started just looking into different things to say, okay, just go back to the fundamentals. Why do catfish bite? What are they chasing? What are they eating? Right?
Yep.
Going through, okay, well, there's that. Well, let's look at the characteristics of, why do they do that, or what's the makeup, the biology, right? So I started reading. It's like, well, what are the most important factors for a catfish to determine whether they're going to eat? Well, one was smell.
No.
They got to smell it, right? That's how they're going to find it. After that, it was after smell, it was taste.
Yeah.
And then taste, it was vibration, right? Low on the list was color.
Yeah.
So I was like, interesting. We spend all this time on all these colorful things, all these different colors. Is like, well, is the color for us or for them?
Right.
I think, well, does it smell like I want to eat it? Does it vibrate like I want to eat it? And does it taste like what I want to eat it?
I honestly think a lot of the colors is for us.
I think so.
Colors that catch people's eye. That's what sells.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a $1 billion industry that is based on colors. And does
Yep.
it work? I don't know. I think there's probably a handful of colors that will give you an advantage. Be
Right.
careful. They might ban those too. You can't use red lures or red floats in the
Yep.
catfish tournaments because it's too much of an advantage.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if everybody starts using these, or we're the only one using these little rattle things and we start winning them all,
Yep.
be careful. We have to just give them out like crack to everybody so everybody could use them and
Yeah.
it's all fair. Everybody's equal.
Yep.
No, I don't know. These things might not work, but I was reading that they could work for striper too. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking in the river, this thing will be like shaking like crazy.
possibly.
And that rattle is like fish or a school
Right.
of fish. So I'm thinking that these might work great for striper.
Maybe. Maybe.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Rocket rattles.
rocket rattles.
Is that what they're called?
Torpedo rattles.
Yeah. These aren't off Timo though. They might work. They're not Timo. Timu or no, they're not those. These are just ones I found on the internet. I got some other little.
And you didn't get these from the adult bookstore down the road.
No, that one closed. That
make
one
sure.
closed. I heard it closed. At least that's what your wife told me. No, just kidding. So here, you can have these. You can take those.
Well, thank you, sir.
I got a bunch. I got a big bag. It was like a big bag of 50 for like $9.95 or something. I don't know what it was. They'll probably use once and rust.
Yeah.
It's like also they don't
Yep.
shake anymore because they rusted out.
Yep.
But this is our product review for this. We're trying to do product reviews every podcast. So these little line rattle, rocket rattles, whatever it is, if you use them, let us know. Send us a video of what it looks like and how it,
Yeah.
it works. And of this, I don't want to see that you dirty old man sending me some nasty videos. But,
Oh, they're going to show you videos of that working.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
but I want to
Don't
see.
put a base up.
It's gonna sound like a feeding frenzy. That's for sure.
Yeah, so I want to see if it catches striper for me, and definitely going to try it on the catfishing thing and see what happens. And
Can't
that's
hurt.
it. It can't hurt. That's what she said.
Brandon says good for shark.
Oh, see, look.
Oh, really? Okay.
All right, there you go, Darren. Get some of those
We
for
have to
shark.
go out shark fishing here pretty soon.
Well, look, you got some rattles there.
Yep.
We can do that. I could not believe I fished 21 tournaments just in catfishing alone in 5 years. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Does that make me a professional?
Eh,
I still suck. Hey, we finished 5th overall, though.
yeah, that's pretty good.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
Not bad. Still got a lot to learn. But I'm going to take a year off to learn it and get better. What else is on your mind? You got a shop in place.
Got a shop in place now. It's just a matter of setting it all up, getting all the power in there, and getting things set up to where it's ergonomic and easy to work in.
What are you looking to work on?
Anything. I know I've got something kind of set up with Richard. Sooner or later, he's going to want to put some pieces on the back of his boat for his trim tabs.
Oh, cool.
I know David Mayo needs some work done on his boat. And then also, I think Brandon LeBoy still might be wanting one of the wind tamers.
Sounds like you're on backlog already. You guys
Yeah.
got to get these orders in because,
Yeah.
I don't know when he's going to be able to get to them as he's twiddling his thumbs sitting here on a podcast when he could be making products. So.
Yeah, yeah. It's nice having that big old shop, though. It's going to be fun.
Nice.
It'll be fun.
Well, You'll at least look important.
Yeah, and then we got Christmas right around the corner. So right after Christmas, just to let everybody know, is my birthday in case they want to get me something.
What are you
Hey,
looking at me for?
his birthday, and he likes whiskey.
Yes,
and,
I do.
Cigars? You like
I
cigars?
like cigars
Oh,
too.
there you go. We can have a whiskey. I think Richard
Yeah.
likes whiskey and cigars.
Yep.
A few other the guys out there I like whiskey.
We'll come over and we'll just sit in the shop and smoke whiskey or smoke cigars and drink
Hey,
whiskey.
well, we can make some smoked old fashions. That's
Yes,
for
we
damn
could.
sure. So here's what I'm thinking. This is what I'm hearing. Is Darren saying he wants to have a little house breaking or a house shop warming party where he's gonna bring everybody over to smoke some whiskey and shoot some cocaine. I don't know whatever you're gonna do in there. Some Viagra. I don't know. Some Geritol or.
What kind of party you going to, son?
I don't know. I'm
Holy
just
crap.
getting these flashbacks of when I was younger, but it's no. I guess it's we're that age now where it's how many Advil and Bengay do you
Yeah,
have?
we're gonna have to be done by 8 o'clock because I need to be in bed by 8:30.
It's funny how times have
Yeah.
changed.
Yep.
Definitely, you talk about the old guys and the new guys and technology changing. It's like
Yeah.
the only thing I don't care about the technology. I just want a bigger screen. It's just
Yeah.
hard to see that little ass screen. And my screen's pretty big, but
Yeah.
once you put 2 or 3 screens on there, they get smaller and smaller. And I'm like,
Yep.
you know what?
It's
I need
hard.
a screen this big for everything I want to look at. It's just a big
Yeah.
wall.
It's gonna be weird when I got a big screen on the bow of my boat for my monitor.
So is it going to make me a better fisher? Probably
Probably
not.
not.
I'm still going to not catch fish, but we're working on it. We're learning. We got Kevin Brock's got his Kick 'em a Pow Old Farts Fishing
Yes.
Catfish Base.
When's that coming out?
He's labels are being printed now. Everything's coming
Nice.
in. Bottles are coming in. He's packaging, and probably by the ISE show, we'll have it. So
When is that IFC show?
January 15th, something like 18th, 15th through the
Okay.
18th.
Might have to
So
make it out
ISE.
there this year.
He's got a booth. I'll be in the booth with him. We got some old fart stuff that we can we're gonna have there on display. Assuming I'm available. That's the big wild card. Is it can change at any moment. But
Oh, we'll get you out there. You got a wheelchair.
there you go. Wheelchair me out.
Yeah.
But
We'll get you out there.
but yeah, he's got a seminar going on that Saturday, talking about kokanee with a lot of rod giveaways. He does some crazy promotions. I don't know when he's getting his chemo treatments, if he just loses his mind, because he'll come out of those podcast nights and say, yeah, I'm doing a buy 10 lures, get 10 free. And I'm like, what? He's all, yeah. And he tells me after a week of that, I don't think we should do that promotion again. I'm like, it was your idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he was giving away the store.
Yeah.
And he does that every once in a while. We've got
guy, though.
a few giveaways, and so you definitely want to check him out. And
For sure.
so when are you fishing next?
I'm hoping to get out this weekend if the weather holds out on Saturday.
Where are we going?
I'm not sure yet.
Look at me inviting myself. Where are we going?
Not sure yet. I've got to figure that out.
Well, give us enough advance warning. So I say us, so Anthony can come out
Yeah.
too.
I mean, if the weather holds out, maybe the Delta. There's not a whole lot going on up here right now.
You can try these little things out on those little striper.
You know, if the weather was nice, I don't think it's going to be that nice, but I would go shark fishing. It's a good time of year to go down to like San Mateo area and do some shark fishing for leopard sharks.
Well, if you got room on your boat, I'm going to invite myself, because I'm probably going to be not much help. I'm just kind of going to be a free ride.
Yeah.
Even the last catfish tournament, we're out there about halfway through. I couldn't even reel fish anymore. Anthony was, I mean, I'd net a fish and then hand him the net to pull it in. I couldn't even reel the fish. I mean, I could not even lift it. It was so bad. And I'm still in pain from that tournament and going, yeah, this is not going anywhere. Anyway.
Yep. So we'll figure it out.
Well, we will. I want to say thank you again to Dieter Melhorn for getting on with us for a second time.
Yes.
Brought up a lot of topics about just a lot of stuff. Future tournaments, electronics, specifically forward-facing sonar, a very divided topic. Did we solve anything? Probably not.
No.
Did we raise some more questions? Absolutely. So the real work's going to come down to the tournament directors to figure out how they want to deal with this. Or like Jake's already said, I ain't changing anything this year. So he's dug in. Richard's dug in. And we'll see how that plays out.
Yep.
And does it impact the sport? And we'll see.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
Peace out, everybody. Until next week,
Stay safe on the water.
tight lines.